The United States has imposed a huge tariff of 100% on imports from China. The US President Donald Trump announced this through his social media platform Truth Social a few hours ago. Of course, many people are shocked. Till the other day, the tariff on Chinese imports was just 30%, way below the 50% tariff imposed on Indian goods. Why all on a sudden Trump decided to impose a huge tariff on imports from China? Of course, everybody knows that Donald Trump is a mercurial political leader. He is capricious. But at the same time, there should be a logic behind this. What are the apparent reason? What could be the real reason? These are two questions that comes into our minds. The apparent reasons are one, China has imposed restrictions on exports of rare earths, and China has a great say or at almost a total control over the rare earth market. So that could be one reason. US is going to suffer. Then there is another reason, that is the soya bean issue. China has stopped importing soya bean from US, and US farmers are irked by this. This could be another reason. But there is a more important reason. What's that? Actually, Donald Trump wants a change in Chinese administration. He wants to create uncertainty in China, and this is the right time. Chinese Party Congress is going to take place, in a couple of weeks. So, obviously, Donald Trump wants to create trouble for Xi Jinping. And he knows that if the US spikes the taxes or tariff on imports by 70% to 100%, then it's going to create trouble for Chinese exports. So that could be the real reason. And this is the real reason as per available evidences. Let's break down the whole issue. Welcome to Insights. I am Hari Kumar. As I said in the beginning, the latest Chinese provocation was the control they imposed on rare earth exports. Obviously, the US industry is going to suffer from this, especially the electric vehicle industry. So in electric vehicles, you use a large quantity of rare earths. It's used for making magnets. So that is one of the reason. Unfortunately, China has a stranglehold over the rare earth market. Almost 70% of the market is controlled by China as per media reports. It's not like that not many countries have rare earth deposits. But the real issue is processing. When it comes to processing, when it comes to the supply chain, China has a major say in that. And this is why the United States is worried. Though many countries are trying to, explore deposits of rare earths, many countries are trying desperately to excavate rare earth. Many countries have got rare earth deposits. But at the same time, if you want to build an ecosystem, if you want to build extraction units, then separation units, so it takes some time. And China knows that very well. So they want to create trouble for the US. That's obvious. But again, that's not the only reason, because Trump still has got time to discuss the issue with Xi Jinping. Then there is another issue which may be a bit more serious issue. What is that? Uh, China used to import soya bean from the United States in a huge way. Till 2021, almost 60% of the soya imports of China was from the United States. And the US farmers benefited greatly from that. And if you look at the US farmers, the rural white people are ardent supporters of Donald Trump. So Trump has got an interest in their cause. And this is the reason why he is worried. So he wants a solution for that. But from 2021 onwards, China has been incrementally reducing their dependence on the United States for soya. In fact, China has encouraged farmers in South America, for example, in Brazil, to take up soya farming. China invested hugely in promoting farming in many countries, and now China has reaped the benefit out of that. The result is this year China has not imported not even a single dollar worth of soya bean from the United States, and that has really hurt the white farmers. Trump cannot afford to look at it simply and stoically suffer that. So he might have taken a retaliatory step because of that. That could be one probable reason. But as I said earlier, it's true, these white farmers are ardent supporters of Donald Trump. Almost 77% of white farmers voted Donald Trump during the last presidential elections. That's all true. But at the same time, that's not enough. Because when you are going to lock horns with China, you have to be very careful. On paper, the US economy may be bigger than Chinese economy, but things don't work that way in real life. China is the manufacturing base of the world. US gains its, strength. The strength of the US economy is the strength of the dollar, not the manufacturing base of the United States. Many countries can afford not to import anything from United States and still go on as if nothing has happened. But that's not the case when it comes to China. Many countries depend on China for manufactured goods. So there is a real issue there. So when you are trying to lock horns with such a country, you need to be very careful. And then why US decided to increase import tariff on Chinese goods by 70%, or now the import tariff has reached 100%. This is going to be applicable from 1st of November. So that's really serious. It's sure that the US is going to face inflation when this is implemented. But there are other reasons for Donald Trump to implement that. And that is what I said initially. Chinese Party Congress, the plenary session of Chinese Communist Party is going to be held soon. So in that case, if exports from China are affected, if economy of China is facing some kind of threat, then definitely questions will be asked at the plenary session. And that is going to, cut the power of Xi Jinping, who is ruling like a monarch in China. He is ruling like a despot. So Donald Trump wants to upset the system. If he raises tariffs, he knows very well that is going to have domestic implications in China, and that is going to get reflected in the plenary session. And at least some of the aides of Xi Jinping will have to be removed. And that is going to create bad blood in the CCP. So definitely Donald Trump has an axe to grind. He is willing to, suffer for the time being if that will fetch some benefits in the future. I think this is the real reason why all on a sudden Trump increased the tariff on Chinese imports to 100%. Let's see how China is going to take this. And the newfound friendship between India and China will come in handy for Xi Jinping. So for the time being, perhaps Xi Jinping will give a ring to Narendra Modi and will try to, strike some deals with India also. Let's see how Xi Jinping is going to face this. Will he outmaneuver Donald Trump's tactics, or will Donald Trump eventually, will Donald Trump has the last laugh? This is going to be the real question. I'll be back with updates in the coming days. Till then, goodbye.